Everyone, gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 Kickstart Invitational podcast, where we dive into the soul of the Kickstart Invitational. I am, of course, your host, Kyle Steffi, alongside Justin and Carter McPhail. In each episode, we'll be bringing you the latest development, exclusive. Oh my God. Latest developments, expert analysis, behind-the-scenes interviews, and exclusive insights of the Kickstart Invitational. This is what I get for changing my script from last year. First and foremost, Carter and Justin, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing good, Cal.
As you guys can see from the title, we got a fourth person in here. This is the Captain Reveal episode. We wanted to make it a big one, a special one. And Alliance Beverage is going to give us an ad-free episode. Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about Alliance Beverage, and then we're going ad-free.
Yeah, this episode, just a quick ad. They don't want to bog it down, but shout out to Alliance Beverage. They asked me to keep it short this episode, so thanks to them for helping produce this podcast along with yourself, Kyle, and let's hop right into it.
Met Dan's boss yesterday. Nice guy.
Yeah, really good guy.
Really like.
We do love Dan's boss.
Fuck.
We do love Dan's boss. I told him I like you. I don't like your boss. Yeah, so big episode. You guys obviously see, if you're a visual listener of the pod, that there's a fourth person in here. We went through a pretty extensive captainship selection process. I believe the rule, Justin and Carter, is you have to have gone for 2 straight years, and you have to have not been a captain over that span.
2 years participated. And then after captaincy to be eligible again, there's a 2-year cool down.
Okay. And Justin, when we look at the captains, looking at Carter, Cullen, Preston, Chase, give us a nutshell of what those captains embody that maybe went into this process as well.
I think for sure you look back at each captain was a kind of a different type of leader. Chase was ultra prepared. Preston brought, the highest level of competitiveness. And then Cullen, I think, was, led from the back, kind of the ultimate teammate, as we've heard from many of some of our first-time players that want to play with Cullen. And, I think they would have been proud to play for Cullen as well. But a few different leadership styles for sure. Carter himself kind of brings a lot of those same things, as well as the performance on the field. I think he leads by example for the most part. The second highest strokes gained of anybody that's played total across the 3 years. So, it's interesting. I wish that, someday I can become a captain myself, but we'll see how this next captain fares, and we'll be able to compare him to all the great captains we've had in the past.
Yeah, so if you guys are listening, stick around till the end. We'll announce him at the end of the podcast here. How pissed would he be?
Just sitting there listening live.
Part of me hopes somebody Cullen just jumped to the end there, hoping he'll just miss the whole announcement.
Just skip right past.
Yeah, but without further ado, this guy is a former Ferris State hockey player. He is a former Jets pizza manager. He is claimed by a wife. He is a current member of the Indianwood Golf Club, former Orlando Solar Bear. It was just recently found out he is Microsoft certified. He's a part of the Bob Daniels Lover Tree, and the newest captain of the Kickstart Invitational. As Run DMC said, it's tricky. Jake Tricky Transit, welcome to captainship.
Show yourself.
Real quick, early on in this, I farted twice pretty loud and I wasn't muted. Did you guys hear it?
I heard something a little feathery.
I have to
No,
watch it. I'm pretty proud of it.
your mic quality's too good.
Yeah, I am excited to be the other captain alongside Carter and take him on. Carter said, this could be a possibility right after last year's in the car ride home. He said, be on the lookout, maybe. Yeah, and it happened. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so Tricky, I mean, we're going to dive into strategy, initial thoughts, and overall branding of the team. But first question, as always, what does the Kickstart mean to you?
Just kicks off the summer for golf. It's good to get out there, especially with such a good big group of guys, and just kind of start the summer off with a bang and a great golf trip. So it means a lot.
If you were to put your finger on it, Trick, favorite Kickstart memory, moment, day, you think of a singular Kickstart thing, what would be your favorite?
Favorite Kickstart memory, probably he was actually my teammate. Preston missed about a 2-footer in front of the whole gallery. If my teammate, it didn't help me at all. It actually hurt me, but I don't know. It's pretty funny to miss one of those in front of everybody watching. So I'll probably always remember that one.
That was a tough one.
Not a knock on Preston. He's been my teammate probably most in this thing. So that's my guy.
I think that putt continues to get shorter and shorter every time we tell the story too, because from where I was sitting, it looked a little bit longer than 2 feet, maybe. The first putt maybe wasn't that great, but the one that would have won the match, it was not the easiest putt, but kind of slid by. Expected a guy like that to make that for sure. What about what's your favorite course? I think we haven't really asked a lot of people this. We haven't really asked a lot of people this question. I know everybody has their own opinions, but in your opinion, and include some of the other courses in the area that you would potentially want to see as the fourth course.
You mean like my favorite course on the trip? Probably Pilgrims, just from I guess, in shape wise and layout wise. I'm a big fan of Pilgrims. Haven't really played it all that great, but I don't know. I think it's a great layout and just an overall good course. Probably one of my favorites in Michigan. To be honest, I'm not familiar with a ton of the golf out there, so I don't know if I could give a ton of courses there to add onto the trip. I know last year that when we played, what was it called?
Thornapple Point.
Thornapple Point was solid. I enjoyed that. Again, what comes to mind is some of those other kind of expensive one out there by Ferris. But yeah, I don't know. If I was to add one, I'd probably have to do some research.
When you say expensive one by Ferris, you don't mean Katke.
Sure, Jackie's got great bang for your buck.
They don't charge enough.
They don't.
Karts, why don't you kick us off over to Tricky's player profile? There's going to be some guys that he may potentially draft that don't know this motherfucker.
All right, here we go. Jake Transit's journey is a testament to his resilience, determination, and versatility. Former Division I ice hockey player, Ferris State University, played alongside myself, Connor Fedoruk, Brendan McLaren, where he honed his skills that could translate seamlessly into golf. Focus, strategy, teamwork. Some of his accolades include a 2-time Kickstart runner-up, and they're earning co-rookie of the year honors in 2023. He's got competitive edge off the course. Trix demonstrated his entrepreneurial spirit as former owner-operator of Jets Pista in Nashville, Tennessee, and part owner of Slapshot Golf Co. People forget, a nice budding golf company and YouTube channel. Reflects his love for the sport and his creativity. Looking at his leadership and the upcoming captaincy, he brings a unique blend of professional, athletic, and personal experiences. Recently wed to Alex Halstead. This highlights his ability to balance his personal success with his professional aspirations. Some of his leadership qualities are reflected in his ability to inspire others, adapt to challenges, and maintain a competitive mindset. Familiarity with tournament play, understanding of the course dynamics, big passion for golf. This makes him the ideal candidate to foster some camaraderie, sportsmanship for his team in the upcoming event. We'll look at some of his strengths here. Proven consistency, strong performances at courses on the trip, Diamond Springs, 2.65 strokes gained, leadership experience from both his sports background and his entrepreneurial background. He's got a passion for the game. He is looking to enhance performance on a course that he says is his favorite, Pilgrim's Run, which he has a negative strokes gained on, I do believe. Overall, he exemplifies what it means to lead both on and off the course, competitive history, entrepreneurial mindset, his ability to foster team cohesion, make him an excellent choice for a challenging captain for myself. But, we go to the scouts and they point at last year. He was a 0 strokes gained, directly average player in the tournament. Pilgrim's Run has been his worst played course in his 2 years. And as a captain, singles matches are huge. And, if I end up on his team to be named later in the episode, I'm going to expect my captain to perform when the lights shine brightest on Sunday.
I think it's worth noting, Karts, too. You mentioned it a little bit on the strokes gained piece. He is still third all time in strokes gained total of Kickstart history, only behind you two, you and Justin. He's also tied for third in team wins for the entirety of the Kickstart, even with not being present in year one. Tricky's got a 4-1 record in team games. Like you said, 0-2 in singles. Tricky, you see the stats, we see them. Singles match this year. What are you doing different to prepare between now and May to get ready for that match and just to look at your gameplay in preparing for this year?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the T-ball. I think if anybody played with me last year, the T-ball, especially with driver, but driver leaked its way into the rest of the clubs that was sitting off the tee. It was no good. So yeah, improve T-ball. I think I pretty much go as my T-ball goes. I'm confident with putting and short game and hitting greens from, X yards in and whatnot, but getting off the tee is kind of the key for me.
I think you're absolutely right. I think I look at a guy like Cullen last year, had a good round at Pilgrims. He has traditionally played well at Pilgrims, and he'll be the first to tell you he just purely did not hit driver. Found a club that worked for him, got something that was getting the ball in play, and ended up obviously playing well in his match. I think because of it. It is probably the most important thing at Pilgrim's Run is getting off the tee.
Definitely.
Yeah, I felt that because I hit every club probably off the tee, and none of them were working.
Carter, if you're all finished up with the player profile, get us into the ad-free rapid fire segment here. This is a doozy this week. I'm excited for this one.
Oh my gosh. We talked about it in the pre-show before we kicked it off. Obviously the paid members of the podcast can get access to that. During his introduction, we would be remiss if we didn't mention Jake Transit is Microsoft certified in Word, PowerPoint, and the always useful Excel. On paper, he's got the badge on his LinkedIn. As do
Allegedly.
I. He did not take the test. And I'm just going to go out there right now and say it. If we're saying Jake Transit is Microsoft certified, I'm Microsoft certified thrice. The poor guy just allowed.
Well, let's mention the third person you're Microsoft.
Brendan McLaren, Microsoft certified.
Nice.
And for a guy who needs Excel and used Excel a lot in school, he didn't take the test either. We'll make the long story short. I took the class in the fall, and Brendan and Tricky took it in the spring. The class is broke up. The first quarter of the class is Microsoft Word, how to format all that. Okay, go through the learning module. You take the test. You're certified or you're not. Then PowerPoint, same thing. You take the learning modules. You take the test. You're certified. The whole second half of the class is Excel. We get into March, April, and these guys are like, "Hey, we're not going to pass." So I went to their class for test day and sat in between them, having not been in the class all semester, and just for the hour and a half in class was just doing this.
Just double fisted.
Teach even came over to us and was like, "How you guys doing?" And we're like, "Good." But hey, they got to pass class and continue to pursue their degrees, and I may or may not have acquired a nice Bauer hockey stick from Jake.
So you went in there and took the test for both of them, and the teacher just knew about it?
Live?
Live. Yeah.
We'll do it
The
live.
teacher was an old bag of shit, and he didn't understand what was going on.
I mean, I don't have the most.
No, he was.
I'm not.
He was cool.
I'm pretty
He's a little
average
bit
looking
like
guy.
Bob Daniels. God,
And when you start off class with 15 minutes of looking through your Facebook news tab with the class, that's how you start every class. Every once in a while, someone's just going to sneak in. But anyways, if these two, I'll just say this, if these two owe anything to me for their professional careers and their Microsoft skills, it's your boy. But all right, Justin, what is our record for the rapid fire segment?
It is 1:59.
Held by Nate Nordstrom?
I think maybe Dan Henderson.
Dan Henderson. Okay.
Yeah.
Jake Transit, are you ready? We got some new questions. We know you haven't been following along on the podcast, but you're just going to need your answers as fast as you can spit them out. Don't think, just go. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The clock will start when I read the first question. Are we ready? Here we go. And which is the better time to play golf, spring or fall?
Spring.
What is your lowest ever 18-hole score?
68.
Where do you play your most golf?
Indian Wood.
What is your favorite club in your bag right now?
My newly acquired 7-wood.
What is your favorite course in Michigan?
Shit. Oakland Hills.
What is the favorite course you've ever played?
Oakland Hills.
Who is your favorite pro golfer?
Ludwig Aubert.
Who is in your dream foursome?
Anna de Armas. Tiger Woods. And Margot Robbie.
If your wife is sitting in bed reading a book and you're in a chair next to her, what are you doing?
Blasting my load.
What is your favorite part of the song Rattlin' Bog?
The beginning. The part where I look at Jay and start chugging my water.
If you were to receive a cooler as a gift, what color would you like it to be?
White.
What are your thoughts on the economic differences between global AAA powerhouses and their massive growing GDP, and maybe those less fortunate in their third world countries that are struggling to produce a product that's good enough to be transferred into a positive trade world?
Take it or leave it.
What is your favorite part of your golf game?
Like 100 yards and in.
Describe your ideal partner in 10 seconds.
Somebody who's good in the cart, a lot of jibber jabber back and forth. Positive, somebody who's positive. I know I myself don't get too worked up on the golf course, so a lot of the times I will, calm down my teammates. But it's nice to have a balance of maybe two guys who are on the more relaxed side.
Okay, what is your favorite alcoholic drink of choice?
Tito's and lemonade.
What is your least favorite fast food restaurant?
White Castle.
What player do you most want to be partners with in 2025?
Nate Nordstrom.
Okay, what is the female version of a boner?
I got nothing. Just leaking from your genital area.
Who is going to win the Kickstart? My team or your team?
My team.
And what will you name your team?
We will be known as the Fornados.
Justin McPhail, stop the clock.
Tornadoes are live.
Well done, Tricky.
Trick, why don't you
Well
just
done.
go in here and walk us through your logo a little bit?
Yeah. Design was in the works for a while. I kicked over some ideas. Some ideas were kicked over to me. This one popped up a few days ago. I don't even know who ended up designing this one. But I think it was the clear winner. Kind of got everything you want: a golf ball, a nice aggressive Fornado, and yeah, I like it. Colors, I kind of wanted to go with something close to the Detroit Pistons and ride the high they're on going into the summer, and they captured it pretty well.
I like it.
Where did you come up? Where did you come up with the team name? How did this come to you, and kind of what is this team going to stand for? What's the ethos of this team?
When Carter reached out and mentioned the possibility of a captain, I started looking at team names for fun. I think it just came off Google, to be honest. Probably ChatGPT, maybe. I don't even remember, but I saw Fornados. Honestly, was debating between Fornados and El Diablos, but ended up going with Fornados just because it had that golf aspect. So, yeah.
You got this name from Google?
Yeah.
Like you just Googled like good like team golf names? Plagiarism is kind of your thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll plagiarize here and there.
Not scared.
I'll stick up for Fetty or Tricky here and say that he is the first Kickstart captain to have a logo that features a golf ball.
That's true. That's accurate.
That's new. He's got 2 golf balls on there because he knows I'm going to lose one.
Now both teams do, apparently.
Fetty threw that one at the bottom there.
Fetty will be picking that one up in his bag. looking for the first one. I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the conductors updating their logo as well. Not to steal the thunder of the so-called tornadoes. As we look here again at his logo, and then back to the updated conductors logo.
Yeah, Kyle and I have some opinions on this. Maybe we'll discuss. Maybe we'll take offline, but
maybe we'll get into it. Maybe we won't. Who's to say? But I do like the new logo. I'm excited. I've been obviously involved in the creation of it. Quite honestly, I'm getting a little tired of seeing it, and the good news is I'll probably only have to look at it for 6 months and then be done with it. So
bold.
I'll take a left turn here. The Patriots, the Chiefs, the Warriors, the Yankees. These are all dynasties. What do dynasties do when something works? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it's bad juju for the conductors here to be changing their logo after 3 straight.
I mean, sometimes you gotta get with the times.
Tom Brady didn't have to get with the times.
Warriors switched stadiums.
He did, but they didn't rebrand. We're switching stadiums this year. We got a new course and a new Airbnb.
That's what I mean. The tournament is progressing, and it seemed like we were at a stage where we were ready to take the next step, and create something that embodied the conductors more.
When you say is we you and your scout team, or you and all the players you plan to draft?
I would say the conductors support team on the back end, and that includes alumni. You can't move forward with just one man. The conductors are more than just me. Had a lot of good voices in the room, and we've been fortunate, so far to have had no bad apples. We owe that to our leadership group.
There's nothing better than a CEO in a roundabout way giving themselves credit. I love it.
Yeah.
The tornadoes will be built on Dan Campbell grit, for anybody wondering.
All right, fine.
I was wondering that.
I was literally about to ask if you could sum up the, kind of the theme and the.
That's all it is. It's going to be an annoying team. Conductors are going to see a lot of unfortunate 10 to 12 footers go in for maybe a 4 for 3 or 5 for 4 to tire win a hole. It's going to be gritty.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. When we talk about grit, kind of it obviously it's going to start with the draft. What are your first impressions of the draft? Do you have a strategy you've been workshopping in the past few weeks since finding out you were going to become the captain? What do you think about the draft in general?
Yeah, I think I haven't my first 2 years. I actually wasn't able to attend the draft my first year, but the second year, really wasn't thinking at all during the draft. I think if whoever remembers, I made a little bit of a mistake. And anyway, no, I have a strategy. It's I feel like I'm similar to Carter in the sense of where I kind of like maybe do a draft for fun in my head or on paper and kind of want to draft everybody. So it's tough. And then it's kind of tough to think about what'll happen. But yeah, no, I got guys I want and guys I know I won't be able to get, but we'll roll with the punches on draft night.
What would you say to those who say you don't want to draft everybody? That's a bad strategy.
I'd say I wish I could draft everybody.
What if not everybody's a winner?
Well, we're going to seek those guys out in pre-draft. So
Kyle fanning the flame early, alluding to the fact that some of the guys on the trip are shit guys.
I'm not saying that.
That's what
I'm
Kyle
just
said.
saying 50% of the trip doesn't win every year. You don't want to draft those guys.
Yeah, what you're going to
Literally
want to try to
50%
do
of the trip
in the
doesn't win.
draft, you're going to want to try to draft the 5 guys that are going to help you win. That
Yeah.
would be a big goal of the draft, is to draft 5 winners and
Yeah.
leave the 5 losers out.
I wouldn't want to draft everybody. I would want to draft the winners.
7 winners now.
Yeah, seven winners.
More winners.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
There's a lot of guys in this trip.
I
Who knows?
I think we
As
should
we make
start calling some guys and telling them they can't come.
As
16.
we start increasing, having more and more guys, the chances of us inviting a shit guy, they're higher.
It does go up. Hasn't happened yet, I don't think. But
Only time will tell. We'll know May 14th if we got any shit guys showing up.
Trick, I know one thing that's been kind of a hot discussion, for the fellas that play Fortnite, the one pretty big match of last year between Justin and I, maybe opened some eyes as to a strategy of dots versus no dots and how to kind of play that. Have you put in any thoughts as to maybe valuing the guys that are higher handicap like myself, Fetty, Liam, or are you going to try and play a straight up draft who's got the lowest handicap and play it that way?
I have put thought into it. I think it's a little tough because I know like handicaps will most likely change a little bit from now until then. So strategy could change a little, but no, I've always been high on, I guess, getting a high dot guy and against a low no dot guy essentially. But like last year, I was pro you against Jay just because I know in our team meeting a lot of guys wanted to throw me at Jay, and I know last year I think he would have had to give me like 2 or 3 only, and that just wasn't going to happen. So I think it made the most sense to do that and then, see what happened. Because what did it end up being? 20, how many dots?
22.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of dots.
So as a fellow plus handicap, Tricky understands that, there is a point of diminishing returns on getting yourself into the plus area, and maybe matches against guys that are now double dotting could be the threshold. But is that going to change?
I don't think we expected Kyle to go out and shoot his career low.
That's probably true. Yeah,
it's 100% true.
Yeah, I think you're getting 2 dots on a hole. I think Jay actually said it best after. It's like you can make a 6 for 4, and Jay just makes a par and just tied the hole. So it's
yeah. I mean, I shot even par gross. I shot 73. I thought that was pretty good. So
against a 66.
Well, listen, sometimes you just run into a saw, I guess.
No,
Jake,
I felt it too. I played against Cully in singles, and I think I was leading most of it, and then on the back, he started playing good. I was just playing okay, and then he snuck in a few good holes, and then I blink, and then I look, and it's like we got 4 to play, and he's dotting on 2 or 3 of them, so it's trouble.
Trick, I know you mentioned not being very interested in trying to go up against Justin again. Now looking at the handicaps as they state now, as a plus 0.6 to Justin's plus 1.7. Is one stroke enough to go out and beat him?
No, I mean, I'm not. No. I mean, I would have to play, I'd have to be on my A game. I think golf is, a consistency thing. And I think Jay's at the point of his golf career where, his ceiling is, I mean, most really realistically like 75. My ceiling is definitely still higher than that. I have the ability to go low, and I had a few low rounds last summer, but I have the ability to, creep up towards the 80s as well. So, no. And in the future pod, if I ever do play Jay, not in the Kickstart, I would also, not a big dot guy, I would just play him straight up because that's how it should go.
One dot's not worth haggling over in a match of our caliber, in my opinion, either. I do want to note, as part of the Alliance Beverage statistics analysis here, Tricky is also the only other player in the field. Let me just double check here. One of only 3 players that has never eclipsed 80 net. So myself, Tricky, and Parker are the only 3 players who have never shot above 79 net.
Wow.
So when we're talking about ceilings, his ceiling is below the 80 number anyway.
One more. Flop has also not eclipsed 80.
Geez, I guess we can hardly count him, but
Flop, if you're listening to this, actually, let us know. I would be so curious.
Oh my! I'm looking back because I felt like I should have been in that category, but my 80 in the rain day, year 1, when I lost to Cullen by 1, it is nice to see that 67 right next to it though from Diamond Springs in round 2, but we digress.
second lowest round in Kickstart history.
It was good enough for low net that year, but since had a little bit of a target on my back, some people have stepped their games up. I don't care for that much.
You don't want to see people improving. I gotta say, back to Trick having to play against Cullen, we might have to do a deep dive into Cullen's handicap over the past 3 years, consistently going up. And
By
his
2 strokes a year.
Yeah, consistently going down. So
apparently, if you have a kid, your handicap goes up by 2.
I will say
Your golf skill
about
set stays the same.
Do we know what Cullen was last year?
10.
Not 10? Okay. So I will say he hit some shots where you're like, I don't know if a 10 should be hit. I mean, he hit, I think it was like maybe on 15. It was like a nice flighted. I mean, this guy flighted a wedge in there.
it's disgusting.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna go my way. So
I think that a lot of it does come down to the driver. And when he's just out in league play or just playing with his buddies or whatever, he'll still wail on a driver. And I mean, he can blow some drives
that is
completely off the planet.
He's
like
dangerous.
way gone. So, but also I think if he somehow figures out his driver, he doesn't play enough that he's going to lower his handicap that much. And so you'll have a guy that could potentially be, realistically should be a 4 handicap if he could play enough golf, and is getting 9 or 10 dots. That's, I'm not telling any captains what to do, but he'd be pretty high on my big board. We'll get to that next week. What do you guys think about trades? You guys thinking about trading picks, trading players, anything like that?
I think if the opportunity presents itself, we might have to go into the war room.
Make an opportunity right now. Make an offer. Worst he can say is no.
No, I'm not there yet.
It's hard for me to sit here and think about trying to gain more advantage in the draft, having the first pick in each round, with no one being gone off the board, it's tough to be like, yeah, I'll give up this for this. I made a bad trade in year 2 and it should have bit me, but we had some good leadership in the room that rallied and we were able to still take home the cup. With a little bit of grit in that room.
Let me throw in this caveat. If for some reason that I can't make the trip, does a trade become more likely?
Or Fetty, if Justin or Fetty.
Yeah. Would you consider moving down if I myself am not available, or Fetty?
Because Fetty could go number 1 too, to be fair.
He could.
He could.
I'm planning on picking him number 1.
Max done it 66% of the kickstarts.
You can quote me on that.
I was planning on him number 2.
He ain't gonna be there. I have gone on record saying I want to do it without my brother. I'm tired of this, storyline that, our program is built on his back. I'm not going to pick him. You can quote me on that. Whether he's there or not, I think the person that I have in my mind to go first overall is going to be there when I make the first selection. And when I get to the second round selection, if my brother's there, I ain't going to pick him either.
What round do you think Justin's kind of worth picking, Carts?
I'm not picking him.
At all?
No.
Might have a
I'm not picking him, and then I'm going to play against him probably 4 rounds in a row. And you're going to see a 4th star go up on that logo.
Mm.
If Carter doesn't pick him, I'm not picking him.
It doesn't matter. If I don't pick him, he will auto go to your team in the 7th round. Unless you want to make a trade for him.
You bring up Bob to Sports to announce it that you picked him.
So, Justin, how does it feel to be kicked out of the Kickstart for this year?
Listen, we're gonna make my wife real happy.
This is true.
That's the case. There's a couple guys, including Trick's dad, that would be real happy to hear that a player's dropping out. I hope that it's a bit for everybody's sake, because if something like that were to happen at any point in real life, I could guarantee that I would never lose another match going forward. So you saw it in year 2. I didn't go number 1 overall, and what happened?
Kyle went last, and we saw what happened.
Yep, that's true.
Sometimes there needs to be a little external motivation.
Kyle went last year?
No, I was last year
2.
1.
Oh.
Or year 2, yeah.
Year 2.
Came down to the final 2 picks. I had them both, and Kyle said, no, don't pick me. I want to be last. Mr. Irrelevant was the unsung hero.
This is true. Trick, who do you think wins unsung hero this year?
That's why. So let me backtrack here. Nate, I was behind on some of the podcasts. I hadn't seen any of the newcomers podcast. So I started diving into those yesterday and today, and I watched Nate's. So that was kind of why I chose him for who I want to play with. And yeah, so I'll go Nate. Let's go Nate with
Nate seems like a cool dude. I'm excited to meet him.
A mid to high handicapper, definitely the range where you could see some unsungness.
Are you saying that a higher pick, lower handicap couldn't win unsung hero cards?
I'm saying it's less likely that a low handicapper is unsung due to the expectation of better performance. I'm never going to be unsung hero. And that's something I have to live with.
Yeah, I think that's more about the antics. I think that you make yourself
Sung?
unsung.
Sung, even.
Yeah, you make yourself sung.
Because I have to go out there and play against. I have to go out
Hey,
there and hit against prime
sung
Justin Verlander in the ninth inning
You
all the
need
time.
sung guys. You need sung heroes too.
Yeah,
need
yeah.
sung heroes.
It's just not always do you have to sung yourself, I suppose.
I mean, your first line guys are not going to be unsung.
So Parker could never win it then, for example, or Colin. Those guys are fun. They're fun guys.
I'm
Yeah,
not saying that they're not.
Well, Cullen was my vote for unsung hero in year 2.
Colin was my vote for unsung hero in year 3.
I don't remember who I voted for.
So
I think you voted me, Trick.
Likely Kyle.
I think you voted me. I think you told me anyway.
What I'm saying is Justin goes into a match, you expect him to win. Kyle goes into a match against Justin, you expect him to lose. Now, when they perform higher,
is it not supposed to
than
be more?
expectation.
Is it not supposed to be
Less
more
golf,
focused?
right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be more focused on the off the course stuff, right?
On and off the course, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Kyle gets my vote a lot because we will play around together or we'll be at the house and something will happen and Kyle and I will have some sort of one-on-one dialect and it normally is one of the highlights of the trip. So
Could you give us an example?
no, I can't. I wish I could. Maybe off camera.
Trick remembers off-field conversations the same way that Cullen remembers the holes on the course.
I'm actually shocked he had that one rapid-fire question correct.
What?
With his wife laying in bed reading a book, what's he doing next to him? Part of me wondered before Carter reading that if Tricky even remembers saying that.
If that would even click.
Yeah.
We talked about it in Snap not long ago. If we didn't do that, I probably would have forgot.
Trick, what have you learned any lessons playing under Preston and under Chase on, the type of captain you're going to be or the way you're going to go about captainship?
No, I think I'll probably take little sprinkles of both of them. Chase was kind of the quieter, organized captain who you could see though he was competitive and definitely really wanted it last year, which I loved. And I got to play around with him, and I think it was might have been both of our best rounds of the weekend. But no, we had fun together. We played good together. We were a good mix, and then Preston's just funny. He likes to talk, and he brings some energy. It's fun. So no, I'll probably mix in a little bit of both, and then from that kind of just be myself.
Trick, some of the naysayers out there have, voiced their opinions and said, he's not vocal enough to be a captain. He doesn't have the presence to, command the room and maybe turn the ship around if it's not going good. What do you have to say about, someone like that who may doubt your abilities as a captain?
Yeah, no, the Tornadoes will be fine. We'll be good.
Sled dogs aren't driven from the front. That's all I'm going to say. It's the guy in the back that steers the ship.
I will cut the bullshit a little bit on it. You're likely going to be playing two McPhails here this coming year. It's a tall task that hasn't been done before to beat them.
Brady and Belichick.
It really is Brady and Belichick, although Brady and Belichick didn't change their logo in the middle of the fucking dynasty. But
well, there
tricky.
goes Cal stock.
If I'm on the conductors, I'm concerned. And I've voiced that over and over. Anyways, tricky.
Microsoft changed their logo a bunch. Look at them.
They're not a sports team.
We're not a sports team. We're an organization.
We call them a monopoly.
Yeah.
Right now, we're a monopoly of Kickstart Cups.
Trick, what's the thoughts on playing Brady Belichick in the middle of the dynasty? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel a bit of nerves? What is the honest thoughts about it?
No, I think I'll probably, maybe I'll be, maybe I'll try and find my Mahomes to my Andy Reid. We'll see. Maybe try and take down the new age, come in and try and take down the long reigning champs. We've seen it before in sports. It's inevitable. So this will be the year.
Do you have a short list of guys that you think fit that Mahomes role?
I might already have my Mahomes.
Are you calling yourself Mahomes?
Nope.
And also Andy Reid.
I am Andy Reid.
So you're not prepared to release a short list of guys here that may or may not be that Mahomes?
No, we'll keep the cards close to our chest here.
That's a page out of Chase's book.
Yeah, that's mark that down as one of the things he might have learned from his previous captain.
This fucker went back to Chase's podcast last year and realized Chase didn't say shit.
Said, wait a minute. That guy didn't tell me anything.
Chase gave us coach speak for an hour on his intro pod last year because he was just keeping the cards so close.
It was engaging, though. I will say.
It was.
Good delivery.
I had my ears open during that thing, and I didn't hear a word he said. Not that I was necessarily airing it out either, but we couldn't get the rookie captain to slip up once.
Can we talk about the courses just a tiny bit?
Sure.
Like, I want to know. Kind of, do either of you two captains have any game plans or thoughts about certain guys' games, or if there's any formula to play any of the certain courses? Does in your opinions, do any certain guys or certain traits, like if a guy's a good iron player, he's going to play better at this course, or if a guy's a good driver of the ball, I think we all kind of know that the best drivers seem to play the best at Pilgrims. But out of the other two courses so far, are there any guys that you look at that you think they're going to be better at this course and I'd want to pair them up in a certain way?
Trick, I'll let you go first.
All right, Trick, go ahead.
To be honest, maybe it'll change, but I'd say not yet. I think personal experience, maybe it'll change based on like somebody's handicap. But me personally, I feel like I was a much better golfer my second year last year, but I think I might have maybe scored a little better my first year. So I think there is at some point some kind of advantage to maybe never have playing the course. And that obviously goes for like the new guys only. But yeah, no, I think course knowledge can sometimes make you play a course worse, to be honest. Obviously, it helps most of the time, but I feel like on a trip, you're just kind of going out playing golf, and that's when you can kind of play some of your best golf. So, no, I don't think yet I have too much thoughts on that.
It makes sense. The new guys, whatever nerves that they have might be offset by the fact that they don't have any scar tissue. They haven't been burned by that sixth green on Diamond Springs, missing that to the left and having to chip way up the hill or anything like that. But
The back right pin at the mines on one.
yeah, Cart, you have, ignoring what Trick said, is there certain traits that guys have that, may benefit them on different courses?
I think, yeah, for sure. I look at it as more of a character connection. I'll go maybe a little bit out on a limb and say, the Cody and Esser combo at Diamond Springs is one that I look at as very enticing. Especially if Diamond Springs is likely to be the second or third course on the trip. Day 3 probably going to see a little bit of pressure from the scoreboard as well as fatigue from the trip. Getting two guys like that who have had success, especially there, together, to almost distract them from the lights and kind of just be like, hey, remember what you guys did here 2 years ago? Go out and do that again. That's something that I think might be in the cards for the conductors.
You bring up a wildly interesting point that I'm sure we've all briefly thought about, but I don't think we've really taken a deep dive into the thoughts here of the trip is an extra day longer this year. That is an extra day of golf, drinking, whatever else we're going to be doing. Both Carter and Trick. Is there any thought of, maybe taking guys that are better equipped to handle it versus guys that have been there, seen it before? Is there any lean there on experience versus youth?
I think probably similar answer was maybe. I guess I wouldn't learn any of that, but I mean we're all adults here. Better be ready to fucking go on the last day.
Yeah, if you're standing on the first tee at Pilgrims or on the putting green and you need your captain to come over and hype you up for this last round for you to feel like it's important, then maybe you shouldn't be on the fucking trip.
You're probably on the Tornadoes. You can quote me, you can go back, you can look at, last season's podcasts. I've always been big on the intangibles for my team. I'm definitely looking for guys that aren't going to fake it. You can get on here and you can say, our team's going to be built on grit or this or that or whatever. But, the reality is, if you're down a couple points on the third day, the pressure's on and you either got it or you don't. You can't fake it at the Kickstart as much as you'd like to believe that you could. That being said, if you have some pairs or some guys on your team that can, pull some guys along a little bit more, you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I get that.
Shit, fellas, that's all I got for an agenda. Trick, you got anything for us?
Well, Carter, how is year 6 going? You stopping pucks?
Personally, pretty good. Team wise, not so good. Had a little bit of a setback this past weekend for the Lakers. That being said, as the 64th best team in college hockey, we have made some adjustments this week that I'm excited about. And we could see the tides changing a little bit after getting just decimated last weekend.
Do you think with the recent upcoming Ferris State hockey changes, there is maybe a spot for Dave Sensor on that coaching staff over there?
No. Short answer is no. We have a coach
Can wear a lot of hats.
that fills that role quite well, who wears a lot of hats. We also have a strength and conditioning coach that deals with the entire athletic organization here at Mercyhurst that fills out that role.
That's good.
Dave Sensor, he's got great experience. I'll give you that. He's done a lot.
He's got a lot of experience. I don't know that he's got great experience.
He's got a lot of experience in a lot of different roles. I'm interested to see what that Fair State staff looks like in the next year, next 2 years, and who knows if my phone rings, I'd be willing to go back on that staff.
With the recent announcement of Bob Daniels retiring, I know, Tricky, you were saddened to hear that. You're proud of everything that you and Bob accomplished in your time at Ferris State. Carter, do you think that, potentially the next longest tenured NCAA coach may see that and have some thoughts?
I don't know. Rick Gockin, our head coach, we'll just air it out right now, is the longest tenured coach, and he's arguably done just as much, if not more, in terms of advancing this program, from taking it from club hockey to Division III to Division II to now Division I. He's made the playoffs 18 or 19 years in a row, and we're working towards continuing that streak. Change is probably coming in the next few years. If that's next year, I have no idea. In college hockey, you never know. These long time running coaches tend to
Run for
hold their
time.
positions through trying times, because having a staple in the program is good, and that experience there. I was also at a program last year where our coach had only been there for 4 years, and we were all extremely fond of him, and he was unfortunately met with some less than favorable opinions from the athletic department, and lost his job, which we didn't care for much. So I don't know.
Do you fear the conductors may be getting a little bit too old school for their players?
No.
Okay.
We're tapped in. We have good communication with the leadership group. Our player advisement person has been pretty tapped in, and giving me good feedback. So we're in a good spot right now. I mean, you can't argue with success. If something were to go awry this year, then who knows? If I don't return as captain next year or the year after, and wait out my 2-year cool down, I haven't decided if the conductors will reemerge or will go for a complete rebrand.
We might sell the team.
look that far ahead into the future. Obviously, the expectation is another championship. But who knows, 2028, 2029, if my number gets called again. It's hard to say.
Look, I think, in closing here, we can all agree, if I'm available, Carter's going to take me number one. Right here, you'll hear, we had one big announcement. The second big announcement, Tricky here is going to tell us exactly who he's going to pick for pick number one in round one, the second overall. So Trick, why don't you tell us exactly who that's going to be? I know you've got your big board. You say you've not done research, but clearly you have. Let us know who it's going to be.
If he's able to make the trip, we will be selecting Connor Fedora.